Welcome everyone to a GPU overclocking and undervolting guide. For the last few generations, overclocking was basically dead. You undervolted, you optimized efficiency, and that was about it. But with the RTX 5080 and other 50 series cards, things have changed dramatically. These cards have real headroom again. If you know what you're doing, you can unlock it safely, consistently, and with results you will feel immediately in games and benchmarks. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to overclock your 5080 properly. I'll start with a simple, universal overclock that works on almost every RTX 5080 out there. Whether you're running a budget model or a higher-end custom card, then if you want to push it further, I'll explain how to safely extract even more performance without crashing your system. If your goal is lower temperatures, lower power draw, or a quieter operation, then you need to look at undervolting, and I'll cover that later on in the video. The first part of this video is for people who want maximum performance, have decent cooling, and actually want to use the full potential of their hardware. Let's get straight into it. So, the very first thing you should always do is to make sure your GPU drivers are fully up to date. You can check this quickly by opening the app and confirming your latest driver version, because your drivers can actually affect the output overclock. Once your drivers are up to date, you can move on to the tools we'll be using. For this video, and for all my GPU tuning guides, we'll be using 3 programs: MSI Afterburner, RiverTuner Statistics Server, and Heaven Benchmark. All download links will be in the description below. If you already have these installed, feel free to skip ahead using the chapters in the video timeline. Start by installing MSI Afterburner. During the installation process, you'll see that it also installs RiverTuner. Make sure both are checked. These 2 programs work together and you'll need both for proper monitoring. You should also uncheck the Norton program as well. I recommend installing it somewhere outside of the default program files directory. For example, on another drive or a custom tools folder. This helps avoid permission issues later on. If the RiverTuner installer asks you to close any running tasks, open Task Manager, close them, and continue the install. That's completely normal. Once both MSI Afterburner and RiverTuner are installed, restart your PC before moving on. After restarting, go ahead and install Heaven Benchmark. Again, the download link will be in the description. The install process here is straightforward. Just click through the prompts and choose a sensible install location. This benchmark will be used for initial stability testing and quick validation while tuning. It's important to note though that in benchmarks, if you think your GPU is stable, you should go and test it in more intensive workloads like Cyberpunk with path tracing and that sort of thing. Just so you understand what each tool is doing, MSI Afterburner is where we control the GPU, core clock, memory clock, power limit, and fan behavior. This is the main tool we'll be using throughout the video. RiverTuner handles the on-screen overlay and performance metrics in real time while benchmarking or gaming. And Heaven Benchmark gives us a repeatable workload to quickly test stability and performance changes. With everything installed and ready, we can now start with a simple, safe overclock that works on almost every GPU out there. Alright, so before we move on, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to see more overclocking, undervolting, and performance guides from Frost, consider subscribing and dropping a like. It really helps the channel grow, and leave a comment if you're confused or need to understand something. I'm happy to help. If you'd like to support things further, you can always join my free Patreon, where I post extra content there including custom RiverTuner overlays, early access resources, and other tools that don't always make it onto YouTube. Links are in the description below. Now it's time to get into the tuning. So we're going to start with a simple, no-nonsense overclock that will work on almost every RTX 5080. First, start off by opening Heaven Benchmark and following the on-screen settings. Make sure that it is not set to full screen, as we'll be using the overlay on top of this. Once the benchmark starts, you can open up MSI Afterburner and you can begin tweaking your settings. Without touching anything else, we're going to do 3 things. Step 1. Set the core clock to an offset of 300 MHz. Step 2. Set the memory clock to 1499 MHz. Technically, you can use 1500, but I use an offset of 1 to keep the on-screen overlay clean and avoid odd number jumps. Step 3. Unlock power limits. To unlock your power limit, push it all the way to the maximum allowed for your card. Mine is 125, yours might be 110 or 125 depending on the model. Now, this should work on roughly all models, including the entry ones. If for some reason your system does crash, simply drop the core clock to about 275 MHz and keep the memory the same. That will be stable on virtually everything. With just these settings, you can expect around 5 to 10% in performance increase. At this point, you could honestly stop here and enjoy the extra performance. Never touch anything else. But if you want to push it even further and you want to extract every last bit of performance, we're going to increase the core by around 100 MHz steps. Since we already know that 300 is stable, start from there and move up to 400. Apply the changes while running Heaven and let it loop for a bit. If everything is stable, go up by another 100 MHz and repeat the process. Most 5080s won't do plus 500, but if you're lucky, you will. Eventually your system will crash and that is normal. This might look like a driver reset, a frozen screen or a full system lockup. Don't panic, you're not damaging your card. If it locks up, try to close the program or reset the system. Worst case scenario, just reboot. Now it's time to dial back for stability. Once you know the point where it crashes, take that number and subtract around 50 MHz. For example, if it crashed at 500, drop it down to 450. From here, you want to test stability using something heavier, for example, Cyberpunk with path tracing. Finally, you need to find a safety margin. Even at 450 MHz, if it seems stable, I recommend adding a safety margin of around 25 MHz and settle there. The goal isn't to set it right on the edge, but rather to create something stable. With the core clock locked in, we can move on to tuning the memory. So all 50 series cards use GDDR7 memory, which has built-in error correction. What this means is that your memory can appear completely stable, no crashes, no artifacts, but it will still lose performance while it's trying to correct everything, because the memory is constantly working in the background. Unlike the core clock, stability alone is not enough. We need to actually watch performance as well. The best way to test this is to run a benchmark and check whether the score increases or decreases. The moment you see any performance loss is when you need to dial back your settings. So start from your baseline memory clock of 1500 MHz. From there, increase the memory by 500 MHz steps. On most RTX 5080 cards, 2000 MHz is around the sweet spot. You can often run 2500 or even 3000 without crashes. But at that point, error correction usually kicks in and you actually start to lose the performance, even when everything looks completely stable. So once you're happy with that and it's working well on your games, you can stick around to find out how to undervolt your 5080 and what that does for your card. Basically, it will lower temperatures, lower power consumption, and reduce coil whine, and in many cases, even provide slightly better performance. And if that sounds good to you, then stick around. So in order to do this, you have to work with the curve editor. This is your GPU voltage frequency curve. What you're seeing when you click on it is a bottom axis where you have your voltage measured in millivolts. Along the left side, you have a clock speed measured in megahertz. The GPU uses this under normal conditions to constantly move along the curve. When it needs more performance, it will increase the voltage and climb higher on that curve. When it needs less, it will drop the voltage and the frequency. The problem is that the default curve is very conservative. It uses far more voltage than is necessary for that given clock speed. That is where undervolting comes in. We do that by picking a voltage point and setting the frequency that we want to achieve at that millivolt, and then flattening the curve to the right side so the GPU never boosts higher than that point. The controls that you'll need here is clicking on a single point and selecting the voltage, holding shift and moving the whole curve all together to the point that you want to achieve at that voltage. Then selecting everything on the right hand side by using shift and highlighting it and pulling them all down. Once that's done, you click apply and you'll see the line will flatten automatically. For example, we can run the GPU at a set voltage of 925 millivolts. Open the curve editor and find the 925 millivolt point on the bottom axis. Click on the point and hold shift. Drag the entire curve upwards until you reach the frequency on the left side that reads around 2800 MHz. Depending on your model, this will be around plus 300 MHz. Now click anywhere on the empty space and hold shift again and select all the points to the right side of 925. Drag them straight down, hit apply and you'll see the line will flatten. The 5080 will now run at around 2800 MHz at 925 millivolts. It will never boost past that voltage, and this will reduce power draw, temperatures, fan noise, coil whine, and in some cases improve real-world performance because the clock is no longer fluctuating. Now, if you want even less power draw, you can pull the power limit lower to around 90. But if you want to avoid any throttling or hitting any issues like stutters, you can increase your power limit as well, or even leave it at stock, since your card will now be drawing less power to reach that speed. Now I'll run you through a few presets that I personally would recommend. If you're looking for absolute efficiency, you can run at about 850 millivolts, set to around 2600 MHz. This is a sweet spot for very low power draw, good temperatures, low noise, and all around great performance. And as for the memory, you can leave it at a conservative 1500 MHz memory offset. Now let's finish off with a high performance undervolt. I like to set it around 1000 millivolts at 3000 MHz core clock and also add around 2500 to the memory, with the power limit left at stock. At this point you have all the tools that you need to play around and find what is good for your card. Some cards may even run at 950 millivolts to around 3100 MHz, or perhaps your card can't necessarily run that efficiently. That's fine as well. Whatever you do here, you will gain more performance and more efficiency. Well, I hope this video has helped you understand more about your card and achieving better performance. If you'd like to gain any more information, you can watch other future videos or check out my Patreon. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.